What's going on, y'all? People who may be watching right now, this is Straight on Irregular Raps. And yo, I'm live streaming. Happy I'm live streaming right now. It's the first live stream of Irregular Raps, y'all. Yes, y'all. So this show, man, I'm happy because I got a guest artist. And this show, like I always say, Irregular Raps. Irregular just stands for peculiar people. We represent God. So we're irregular in this world, representing Christ, God, representing positive stuff in this world. The world needs it, right? So, I got a guest artist. His name is Dee Black. What's up, Dee Black? How you doing, man?
What's up, bro? I'm blessed to be on here, especially your first one, man. That's a blessing, man. I'm honored.
Yeah, man. First live show that you're on, and I'm honored to have you because, I heard your music, man. And when I heard your music from the last album you put out, which was last year, the name of it is Flight Club. I really like that album, man. And I really like your message. Like, I really like the real rap you got in it. Like, you're very lyrical and you stick to the truth. Like, you don't hide away from the truth in your lyrics. So I really like that album. And so my first question about Flight Club is, it just makes me, I can't help but think, actually, when I first saw the title, I was thinking Fight Club. Yeah. That's what I first saw. Yeah. And so, I thought that was cool. But then when I saw Flight Club, I was like, oh, okay. So did you kind of play off of the title Fight Club in a way? And what does Flight Club mean too?
So it was funny, man. Originally, I had my title was gonna be Just Listen, and that was the title of it, man. And I was sitting there, and I was ready to go. I had a cover and everything, and I began to study, and I believe I was studying about, it was dealing with Jeremiah, and it began to talk about rejuvenation and having wings of eagles and all of these things started to come to my mind, you know what I mean, and those who being weary and being replenished and all of these different things, and it just hit me. I said, man, flight, you know what I mean, we need to, it just, all of the songs that I had, it started to feel that way, you know what I mean. Even the whole concept came together with the planes and all of that, in between the songs. So I felt like everything I was doing was specifically giving people rejuvenation to fly above their problems. You know what I mean? To like you said in the a lot of my lyrics, a lot of the things that I talk about is not about being within your problem, but coming out of it. You know what I mean? And kind of looking from the outside in, and really dealing with it. So yeah, man, that's how the title came. And I thought about Fight Club originally, just like you said, and I said that'd be cool too as well, to just kind of have play on people's eyes a little bit.
Yeah, and I know I'm kind of late on this album. It came out last year, but I still think it's relevant to today, especially nowadays, because like you said, I think people need to just sit back, take time to be rejuvenated, and the best way for us to be rejuvenated is, of course, resting in God. So I was also thinking about was the times we live in now. Like, there's a lot of distractions. We got technology, we got the iPads, the phones, everybody's just so glued to the screen. Do you ever feel like you get caught up in that too sometimes? Like, I mean, you just get caught up in social media at times a little bit too much. And do you feel like that takes you away from your relationship with God?
Yes. So much so that of course, like probably most of us, I have a Bible app on my phone, and I read it and use it for studying a lot of times, but I haven't been on it in a minute because I'll be on that app, and next thing you know, I get a notification or something, and now I'm clicking on the notification, you know what I mean? So I had to put the phone down and pick up my Bible actual in my hand, you know what I mean? Because it's that easy to kind of get, sidetracked, you know what I mean? Whether it be a text message, whether it be a social media notification, man, I find myself a lot of times having to take time away. And even with my kids, I make them do the same, whether it be Sundays, no technology, no anything, whether it be, after school, no technology, no phones, no anything, no phones at the table, you know what I mean? Because, man, it's hard, bro. I think it's set up to be that way. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
Why would you make a platform that you don't want people on? You know what I mean? You want to make them addicted to it. So it's kind of set up, man. And you know, it's our job to make sure we don't get caught up in it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I appreciate your grind, your hard work, man. I seen some of the music videos you do. And like, what are you up to now? Like with your music? Are you still working hard at your craft right now?
Yeah, man. I actually just graduated from college. Like it was about 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. So
For real?
I had
Wow.
been, bro, when I did
Congrats.
that album, appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
When I did that album, it was, man, for the last 2.5 years, I've been trying to get my degree and work all at the same time. So now I have the time to devote. You know, I've probably done,
Mm.
I'm gonna say about 15 songs in 2-3 weeks.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I got a bunch of different people that I'm working with. Just to give you a couple names, man. Just I'm working with Alico, I'm working with Jared Sanders, Phil J, Joey Vontes. Man, it's a lot of different C-Life producer. I'm doing a project with him. Man, I got a lot of things that I'm doing right now.
Wow.
I got something great come out also with my label. I got a new artist that I'm about to bring on, man, and we're getting ready to shoot a video for that in Atlanta in about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks from now too. So, man, yeah, I'm really busy, definitely busy.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, what did you graduate? What was your major?
Business.
Business.
Mm-hmm.
What are you planning on doing with that? Is that related to music that you're going to do with your business major?
Yeah, I mean, really, right now. So I have my own label, His Story Music Group, and I got some artists that I've connected with, like Plain James with Trap Theology. He's under that. My brother Mouthpiece, he was under that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've been doing, you know, behind the scenes stuff, executive producing a lot of different other projects from artists. So I've been, you know, pretty much independent and you know, worked for myself for the last 6 years. You know what I mean? So I've devoted pretty much all of that business and everything that I learned to, you know, pretty much building my own brand and building my own business. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna continue on that and you know, and probably help more artists as time go along for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, you grew up in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you grow up in the bad parts of Baltimore?
Oh yeah. It's funny because sometimes, man, we be like, "What's the good parts?" You know, you be like, "No, it is good parts." Just like every city, you can go across the street and then the other side would be, you know, crazy. But man, I grew up in West Baltimore, man. Originally, right off of anybody who know Baltimore, Pennsylvania Avenue. That's a pretty you know, crazy area where I grew up, and then I moved to Park Heights from there, and then we moved to the county, and I was like, man, we made it, man. We, you know, we away from the hood, and then all the hood moved out there, so it was like I couldn't escape it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that by you graduating, is that a big deal? The fact that you grew up in Baltimore, a bad part of Baltimore, like how is it a big deal for your family and the people
Yeah.
you know? Yeah,
It's a big deal in general because I mean, even with me and my kids now, you know, we live in Florida, man. You know, moving from Baltimore to Florida, like you said, getting your degree, my wife, she actually graduating in a week. She'll be getting her master's. So it's like, bro, we're doing everything outside of what our families do. I honestly don't know anybody in my family who has a degree. Not
Wow.
one person, you know what I mean, in my family who has a degree. So yeah, it's definitely a big deal for me, man, and for my family. And I'm trying to set a example for my kids, you know what I mean? Because you know, they have no excuse. If I'm getting all A's, you know what I mean, and I'm helping raise you, I can hold it to a certain standard, you know what I mean, and make sure that, you know, what I say really means something because they see the action behind it.
Yeah. I want to go back to your album Flight Club, man. Like what type of have you been getting a lot of good responses from that album? And have you been getting any good criticism from that album as well?
Yeah, the response that I've gotten during a tour, actually, I was able to do a lot of the songs on the tour, and it blew me away, man. Some of the places that I would go, like you said, especially when it comes to lyricism, a lot of times, man, that's not something that's valued as much as it used to be. You know what I mean? So, but to see the reception of that, to see people receive it, you know, and really embrace it, and some of the criticism I got that's been great. to me was based on that. It was like, man, it's like super lyrical, or maybe that's a little old school because it's more about the vibe now. You know what I mean? And I have songs like that on there, but overall, even when I do those songs, it's still, I can't help but do some sense of lyricism or something in it. You know what I mean? So believe it or not, that's the criticism I get, bro. Where it's like, it's lyrical, whatever. Where's the vibe at? You know what I mean? It's funny. It's funny.
I mean, you probably get that more from the younger generation, right? Because the older heads, they pay more attention to the lyrics anyway. Yeah. And it's funny. Like, I always talk, like, I just recently talked to another artist on my last show, actually. And she's very lyrical too. I'm sure you heard her, Heesun Lee.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we just talked about like how she actually talked about how it's hard for her to kind of fit in with the trend right now. And she doesn't want to, she actually tried the vibe and tried to do less words, and it was hard for her to do that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like, I would think it would be easier for a lyrical person to throw less words because they're so lyrical. They got a lot to say, but in a sense, it makes sense because you just got so much to say that
it's in you, man. It's who you are. It's like let's say if you're an artist or something, right? And you draw portraits, like life like portraits, and then all of a sudden they tell you draw characters, cartoons. You're like, the cartoon is gonna look like a masterpiece. You know what I mean? Because that's what you're used to doing. It's just a part of who you are.
Yeah. So do you down rappers who don't really like have a lot of lyrics and they just dumb down their music and kind of hide behind the production? Do you kind of downgrade them a little bit? Or
I think everybody have their place. I really do. I believe music is subjective. So it's like what I don't like, other people like. So but the part you said about dumbing down, if you're doing that, I don't rock with that. If you're dumbing down, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the craziest thing, man. Like, if you're dumbing down literally to try to, appeal to something, what's the main word? You're dumbing down. Like, that makes no sense. You know what I mean? You should go to, or at least start where you are and try to achieve a level higher than already where you are. To me, that would be, the ideal thing to do.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't think they're dumbing it down. They just think they think they truly got skills.
I've learned, like you said, being somebody who does more so lyricism, I've learned to appreciate, because it's some of those songs, man, I like to jump around and turn up with them too. I'll be out there with the young guys on tour, and it might be a song, a beat drop, and you don't know what they're saying. Like, you really don't, but it's the beat, like you said, it's the jumping and all of that, and you go with it, man. So I embrace those guys as well, but at the same time, I always challenge them. You know what I mean? To work on it and perfect it, man, and actually say something.
It's important too, man. Like, I mean, the way music is going, the way rap music is going, even though it may not be something we like, for us, like you just said, you want to encourage these guys to give them some type of substance, because we got to reach out to the world, and we don't want to dumb it down too much to where they don't understand what we're talking about,
right? Right.
But I think that's important. Just going back to you in Baltimore, man, I remember the last time I actually saw you in person was at a concert in Baltimore, and I remember you told me, they invited you to perform, but you didn't get to perform at this event because they had somebody else. But my question is really, like, do you minister a lot in Baltimore right now locally?
Yeah, not right now. I haven't. Last time I was in Baltimore was for the CD release. I did a CD release there of this about a year ago. That was the last time I was there. If I was able to get to Baltimore more consistently, I probably could minister. You know what I mean? I get a lot of calls and different things to come to do things, but my goal, honestly, I don't feel like I'm done in Baltimore. And what I mean by that is, I was doing ministry there in general, in the community, in churches and things of that nature, man. And since I've left, I've heard just how bad it's gotten. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm not done. giving my resources, my time, my money, my energy to Baltimore in general. That's my home. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm gonna be doing a lot more in Baltimore, man, coming up in the end of the year, definitely next year, a lot more. I'll be working with some artists there to set up things there for sure.
Cool, man. So what would you say? This may be a little off, but what would you say is like your aim to minister? Like, is there a group of people that you're really trying to focus the minister to, or is it just anybody, like through your music?
I think for me, sometimes I find myself doing songs specifically that might reach a certain demographic, you know.
Okay.
And the one thing I learned is and it was funny watching an interview with Kirk Franklin and Steve Harvey. I never knew that Kirk Franklin had went on tour with Steve Harvey or whatever, right? Or they they had a tour together, and Steve Harvey told him, man, these ain't my people, these your people. Like, how you gonna have me open up for you? I can't do this. And you know what Kirk Franklin told him? He said, hey man, they see you on Saturday and they come see me on Sunday. He was like, these people in church right now, those people come see. And what I've learned is, at one point when I first came in, I was like, this is for these people, and this is for these people. And man, I found myself competing with the world because people were still listening to the Jay-Z's, people were still listening to the Meek Mills, and you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I had to change my focus and say, you know what, man, I thought I knew that this was the specific demographic of who I was trying to reach, but no, I realized that if I do and stay true to what I'm doing and give the message that God has me to give, then those people will come versus me trying to go get them. God said, you know what I mean? Literally, man, all I got to do is put the message out, you know what I mean? And he would draw them in, you know what I mean? He would draw them, you know what I mean? I just got to do the message and do what I need to do. That don't make sense in business because people are like, you got to have a target, a demographic, you got to have this and that. But with what we do, bro, it's kind of hard to put that, you know, into a specific format of who you should go after and who you should reach, because then guess what you do? You dumb it down.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting you said that, you know, how, you know, it's like a competition, because I think of Christian rappers, it seems like we compete against each other, not realizing it.
Yeah.
And it seems like what we was talking about earlier, that before the show actually, was because time is going at a steady speed, but because people want the music to come faster, it pushes us to really push the music out faster. And you know, I don't know. I don't know if Christian rap artists or just any Christian artist, I don't know if we pay too much attention to other artists. Or, you know, if we pay too much attention to how the world is doing it. You know, I feel like if we paid more attention to God and tried to help each other out, it would look different. But do you feel like we compete against each other as Christian rap artists? Like, from your point of view, from what you see in the music industry, do you feel like we compete against each other?
Yep. Yeah. It's sad, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so hard for me because I work with everybody, and then I give my time, and I don't ask for anything. I don't ask for money a lot of times when I help people with certain things, because, you know, God bless me to be able to have money to take care of my family and do things that I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, that was always my thing. So what I find is when I try to work with people or I try to do things, I got to get past the fact of them seeing that I don't have an ulterior motive and that I really am genuine, because there's so many people have guards up, and it shows me that they really are competing. You know what I mean? Like for me in general, when someone comes, or I give you a chance to break my trust, because I don't have any competition against anyone. You know what I mean? The truth be told, man, is sad, right? What will we be competing for? Like Facebook likes or Instagram?
That's what it is.
Because it ain't money. You know, it sure ain't money, man. So I don't get it. That whatever prize that people are looking for, man, is really it's a facade. It's not real.
I really think we compete against the likes and the follows.
Yeah,
I really think and you know what? It's kind of interesting because I think we're competing against ourselves sometimes. You know, we're trying to make ourselves look really good.
Yeah.
and not really compete against other people.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to just get more likes, more follows, just because it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more of a self thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, then what happens is you said that perfectly, because what happens is, once you internalize something against yourself, then you push it out to everybody else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, I want to feel good about me. I need more likes. I need more likes. I need more likes. That guy doesn't have enough likes, so I don't deal with him. That guy has more likes than me, so I got to get more likes than him. You know what I'm saying? So now, like you said, that internal thing has now been pushed outwardly, and you find, and now they're competing not just with themselves, but the idea of what that other person, because truth be told, like you said, most of the people who, if you were looking to compete with somebody, you would find they probably not doing as well as you think, or what you're trying to get to ain't as good as you think it is. Once you get to whatever it is you're trying to find, you'll find, man, it wasn't worth it. You know what I
mean? Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So I mean, like distractions is a big thing. And it's definitely not worth it. How do you feel like, with I don't know, like every time I ask this question, I feel like there's really not a good answer for this, but do you feel like we should make more music that relates to this type of stuff, like real life situations, like distractions, and how people have follows and likes and how they're kind of consumed by that, and it builds up their pride? Or let me ask this: do you feel like we're making music about the right topics these days?
I think that's also subjective to the person. You know what I mean? Because you have people that I see now, man, who come in and they really don't have any type of discipleship. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're not. So, and it sometimes it's not such a bad thing. I can't look at them and be like, oh man, this dude is making still like trap music. It seems like he's not really about the word, but it's a growth, you know what I mean, thing. And a lot of times our music is based off of what we see, what we hear, you know what I mean, what we're studying, what's in our hearts, sometimes in our minds, all of these different things, you know what I mean? And everybody has different experiences. Everybody has a different opinion. Everybody has a different perspective on how they see things, you know what I mean? So that's the hard part, man, is just, it's like you said, it's kind of really no right or wrong answer. What I do believe is, I believe as Christians, we should be addressing things that we feel like, we want to hide because we want to seem like we're cool, we're okay, we got God, so we don't have these issues, we don't have these problems, we don't have, you know what I mean, all of these different things. I feel like a lot of times that's why the world pulls, you know what I mean, people away, because they're like, man, he's talking about what I'm going through, or he's actually addressing something, you know what I mean? So I feel like we should address those things, but the root at the end of it, it should be, well, how do I get rid of this? And it's all about Jesus at the end. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Don't give them a problem without a solution. You see what I'm saying? And that I think that's the most important thing.
It always circles back to God. Like, even if our topics are positive, a lot of times it's going to circle right back to God.
Yeah.
Do you feel like on your album that you put the right topics on your album, or do you feel like, maybe there was a song or maybe there was some lyrics that you could have switched up and talked about more?
Yeah, for me, I never like dwell on it like that, because I really feel like I be God led, man. Like sometimes, especially lyrically wise, people who don't understand that I really sometimes sit on the outside, like looking in at like I'm outside of myself. I'll write something or type something and I won't stop. I'll be going, and then I go back and be like, oh my goodness, like that's amazing. You know what I mean? So I'm really led into what I'm writing, and I do have a topic like on the album that talks about lust and masturbation, and you know what I mean, like that. Man, doing that song on tour, bro, I watch people, I watch men move further and further away from the stage to the back, you know what I mean? And I was like, wait a minute, so it like me touching even on a topic like that, and the way that I was able to touch on it that was I've done it a lot in my music, but I try not to make it a thing that I think about. I try to make it organic and just go, do whatever God leads me to do.
What did that tell you? Like when you got the reactions that you got, like what you just said from men that moved away, what did that personally, like, did it make you feel like, I shouldn't have did that? Or did it make you feel like it was something that needs to be said in music?
It definitely was, because those same guys afterwards, they would catch me in the corner like, let me talk to you real quick. They be like, man, that song you did, man, man, I'm going through it, man. That's amazing. Wow. So a lot of those people, man, would and at the same time, a lot of people didn't want to, they don't want to be put out there like, yeah, that's my, everybody be like, oh man, I have distractions. Yeah, me too. How many people be like, yeah, I watch pornography. Me too. They not doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like it definitely needed to be touched on, because one thing we know, whether you're straight or you're homosexual or whatever it is that you are, lust is gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like every single one of us are gonna deal with it. And it's something that I think we need to deal with and touch on, because it's killing people silently. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's almost like accountability. It's hard for people to do that because they know you really get to know each other on a deeper level, and they get to know your deep stuff and vice versa.
But we all going through it. That's the funny thing. Like a lot of times things, I ain't saying specifically pornography or something. It could be anything, and you don't want to say anything to the other person, and you don't realize they're going through it, gone through it, been through it, gonna go through it. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we're not by ourselves. We just put ourselves in that box because we don't want to be open to another person who, guess what, is going through the same thing or needs you just as much as you need them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's good that you said all of that, man, because I feel like those issues that, kind of make people feel uncomfortable are issues that needs to be brought out in the world. It can be brought out, more at a more personal level. It doesn't have to be brought out in the open, but I think at least as long as it's brought out somehow, some way, because people are addicted to this stuff, and people don't know about it. So I don't know. I feel like, too, me personally, we need to really hit the deep stuff that people struggle with and find ways to hit them up, like creatively, pray about it.
Yeah.
So I think all of what you said was really good. But for you to do that at a rap concert, I can only imagine.
Yeah, man, it was something, I tell you.
So who produced your album? Because like you said earlier too, you had different styles of music. Like I heard one song you had some collaborations, but it was more of a boom bap track feel, and then you had this other track which had more of like a trap feel and like a wavy sound. So where'd you get like your beats from, or did you have like one producer?
Yeah, my main producer was my brother, man. He's with the label T named Jermaine Martell. Yeah, man, he has a wide range of production, bro. Like you said, when you listen, you couldn't tell which ones he did and didn't do, and he did pretty much all of them. You know what I mean? So he has a wide range of an ear, man. And so that was the goal for us to kind of come together and just create something that we cohesively put together. You know what I mean? And he did an excellent job, bro.
You got the beats right in your life, man. You don't got I mean, did you have to pay for them? He's your brother.
Yeah, bro. I tried, believe it or not. You know what I mean? Okay. He also did the mixing and the mastering. Like I tried, man. And the thing was, man, like you said, being brothers, we built a relationship where, like you said, I was his accountability in many areas, and I just wanted to see him grow, man, in his life. I wanted to see him grow beyond just music. It's never just about music with me. And he felt like, bro, I can't repay you. You know what I mean? For, and that's what he said, so he was like, bro, you can't pay me to do this, you know what I mean, for you, because this is something that this is the only way I know how, and this ain't enough to pay you back. So, man, he wouldn't take any money. it was hard for me because I like to give, man. I do. I like to be, you know what I mean? But it's hard to receive, believe it or not. I had to learn to receive, you know, because I've always been giving to other people.
A lot of people have a hard time receiving. I have a hard time receiving sometimes. Yeah. You know, sometimes I'd be like, "Oh, I really need this. You sure you want to get that to me? I'll take
it." Yeah. I needed them at that time too, because I just, like I said, I really didn't know what I was going to do being in school. I didn't have time to be trying to search for producers and all of that stuff, man. And so I figured if I was going to do it, you know, what better time than when somebody is supplying you, you know what I mean, with the beats to do it.
Do you ever feel like you're going to go to other producers, or you ever feel like you're going to get your beats from somewhere else in the future?
Well, I actually am now, because more so because of the producers who want to do like collaborations. I'm working with my brother C Life right now. He's a really dope producer, man. He's done a lot of joints for Bizzle. Matter of fact, I think he just did one of Biz newest ones. He was working with GS. He just did King Alico's newest joint called man, he's super dope. So I'm doing a whole project with him. I'm working with another guy. I don't want to forget no names either. I really don't. J Dot, yeah. He works with Jared Sanders. Jared Sanders actually connected us for this track that I just did, and we decided we were going to do a project. So I probably got 3 producer-led projects that I'm doing right now, just with them. Which, as any artist knows, man, that's a dream, because again, here I am being supplied with beats, you know what I mean, to do what I gotta do, man. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, so it sounds like also, like, you know, what's his name, Sanders, and you had some other guys that you collaborated with on the track. But I noticed, like, Sanders, do you go way back with him and some of the other guys you collaborated with? How'd you get to know those guys?
Yeah, me and Jared, man, we met. I want to say, I can't even remember who we met through. That's the crazy thing. That's when you know it's crazy, because we when he first came to Christian hip hop, I knew about him because he was already kind of known on that side. He was working with, you know, some named secular artists, you know what I mean? He was already on Hip Hop DX and all of those different things. So I knew about him, and he heard something I did, and we talked, and he was like, "Bro, yo, that's dope. Like, you really do lyricism, you know what I mean? Like, I can do that on this side." And man, once we connected, bro, I think we probably talked. We've never missed a week, probably, and it's been about 2 years, 3 years, maybe almost now. That you know what I mean? We just stayed connected, man. He knows my wife, I know his wife, you know what I mean? We know each other. I was there before he had his kids, you know what I mean? And so yeah, man, we stayed connected. Again, like I said, it was never built on music, though. You know what I mean? It was literally us building a relationship. And a lot of people I collaborate the same, like you said, relationships with people. And I try, honestly, some people I try not to do music with. Like Bizzle, that's my guy, man. We've been cool for a long time as well. And I just never even reached out to do a song with him. You know what I mean? Even though that's probably something I could have done, but I never did it because I always felt like, man, I want our relationship to remain on something bigger than just music. You know what I mean? For me, that's always big.
Wow. That's dope. Because I think, like, with Bizzle, he's more of a big time artist. Yeah. And so, I think some people may jump to want to record with him.
Yeah.
You know, but to hear you say that is big, because, you know, kind of see where your heart is too. You know, relationship is more important than anything. Like, fellowship is more important, you know.
Yeah.
So that's big, man. Would you ever work with a secular rap artist? Like, I always hear like Lecrae working with secular artists, and then you got some other artists who do the same thing. And then I think you just said Sanders was working with a secular artist. I'm not sure, but would you ever do that?
Only if it was on their song. They would have to, if they called me and said, "Hey man, I want you to be on my song," no doubt I'll do it. And I'm gonna say what I want to say. You know what I mean? But I would never put them on my projects. I would never put them. No.
Well, that seemed like that would be harder, because if it's their song, they get to do whatever they want to talk about. Or I guess you would, you would still tell them that, you know, my lyrics would be this way,
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like if it's your song, you would have more leeway to tell them how you want the song
Yeah.
than if it's their song.
The only thing with that is a lot of times what we don't recognize is when you add a person to your song, to me, for me in general, I feel like I'm co-signing them. You know what I mean? And if their music, if you now listen to that artist that I put on and you go check him out because you don't know who he is, and you get to that song and the first song is Shoot Him in the Head 10 times, you know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, so this the guy Dee Black worked with. Like, you know what I mean? This his guy right here. You know what I mean? And not only that, just me having kids in general, bro. I see how it affects I got a teenager. So when he listened to, you know, like you said, some of the people Lecrae worked with, even he would come back and be like, I checked them out. That ain't what it is. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, why'd you go listen to that? You know what I mean? And now he's exposed to something that, you know what I mean? That he shouldn't have been listening to. So that's how I kind of internalize that. For me, with them, I feel like they have an audience and they're gonna say what they want to say on their songs. But me personally, I want to influence. I want to be the one where they hear me and they say, let me go check this guy out. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it's hard, because I couldn't, truth be told, bro, I can say whatever I can say anything about, you know, how I wanted to be done, like you said, with this, and they're going to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? And I have no control over that. But if they do whatever they want to do and I'm on the verse saying, you know, Jesus is Lord, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a conflict of interest for them, not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never going to be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I didn't look at it the way you just said it, man. So you just opened up my mind completely different about that, because I'm just thinking, you know, how, you know, much harder it will be. But I didn't think about that because it's the truth, really, because, you know, when you see Lecrae and it's his song, I think he gets bashed more because he's inviting other artists on his songs, on his albums. And then, like you said, they're hearing their music all of a sudden, instead of it being the other way where you have the secular artists featuring the artists like Lecrae, for example. Yeah. And then you can have like people who listen to his music check him out.
Because I want their fan base. I want their listeners. I don't want to give them my listeners, though. Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually want to talk about that too. Like, how do you feel about like just like Christian rap, you know? And this kind of goes along with the title Christian rap too, because I actually read an article where we get mostly our demographics goes to the Caucasians. And I feel like, you know, I wonder why. Maybe you can answer that for me. I don't know. But I wonder why. Like, from what I see is that I think it's just harder for the black demographic to reach the black demographics because of how like Christian rap, where it came from. You know, it used to sound corny. So I think a lot of people still think it sounds corny. And I don't know, for some reason, it's just more open to whites than it is blacks.
I think like, what happened was, and Lecrae, I think he had touched on it in one time, man. CCM, you know what I mean, kind of came in and kind of controlled Christian rap, you know what I mean, the Christian contemporary market. And Lecrae was like the poster child for that, you know what I mean, at one point, you know what I mean? It was like, so, and CCM don't understand rap in general, you know what I mean? A lot of those songs, a lot of those people who listen to the music, it was literally a white demographic, you know what I mean? And those were the people that were listening to it, you know what I mean? And it just begin to build. But what you don't realize is it's funny because sometimes what we do is just a microcosm of even the secular industry, because when you go and look, a lot of those kids are white kids at those concerts, you know what I'm saying? White kids who are buying, you know, that's what makes it so scary for America, like rap, and you got white suburban kids rapping about shooting, killing, stabbing, you know what I mean? And it does, and if you look at those concerts, man, they saying the N-word and there's nothing but white people in the front chanting the word with them, you know what I mean? So I think it kind of mirrors each other, you know what I mean? From that perspective, you know what I mean? It's still a white demographic. I don't think people realize that, man. black people aren't the biggest demographic who purchase and consume rap music, which is kind of awkward, but it is what it
is. Yeah. So you're saying too, like even from the secular side, you think it's more whites just listening to it and
they consume it and buy it, and overall, that's definitely the case, even though it's something that's more of an urban or considered an urban thing. I can't really say, even on both sides. Think about this. Eminem, he probably sold the most, and then on our side now, NF is the biggest artist.
Oh yeah,
So think about, you know what I'm saying? Why do you think that is? Is because the demographic, you know what I mean? And some people will be like, well, that's great. Well, if whoever's rapping looks like me, talks like me, talks about what I'm going through, the biggest demographic is going to always, be the main consumer, and they're going to be the bigger artists. You know what I mean? So just those artists right there show you where the biggest consumers are.
For NF, I would think too, like he doesn't have a lot of Christian substance like in his lyrics. And the same thing you could say about Lecrae, even though he used to put more of that into his lyrics. But sometimes I think that helps them out as well. But
yeah. I mean, like you said, to cross over, to cross over and get that bigger demographic of people who but unfortunately it's sad, man, that like you said, even the Christian demographic, they listen to, you know what I mean? They listen to the secular artists. So sometimes we say, oh well, he's just crossed over and been able to reach people who aren't doing Christian music or Christian rap. But man, sometimes the lines are blurred, which it shouldn't be. It definitely shouldn't be.
Yeah. So man, like what you got a new album coming out, you got some singles coming out. I know people want you to put things out real fast. I know you told me actually that once you finish Flight Club, somebody asked you, yo, when's the next music, which I think is crazy. So you got some new stuff coming out right now.
I got a single coming out with my brother Double from Atlanta, Double ATL, on May the 3rd, called Blessing. We're gonna be shooting a video for that too. I'm gonna have another single coming with my label. That'll be sometime next month, late next month. That we'll be dropping and shooting a video for. Then I'm gonna do a free EP that I'm gonna be giving out. That'll probably come maybe in June. Probably 5 songs or whatever that I'll be doing. I'll be shooting some videos for that, man, with some features that I have on there. Working on a single, the people called for it, with 5 and Dayton, that I'm working on right now. Not sure exactly when we're gonna have that, but yeah, I'm working on a lot of different things right now, bro. So yeah, once it comes, it's not gonna stop. It's just gonna be consistent, continue.
Yeah, that's the hard part, man. I pray for you about that you'll definitely be able to balance all of that, and definitely, not be too distracted, and it's important, man. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So anything else you want to say, like as far as like where people can find your music, social media, or like where people can find Flight Club?
Flight Club available everywhere, man, from Spotify, iTunes. You can go to dblack.com as well, to find anything you want to find. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, which we're on right now. Every outlet, man. I appreciate it, including Spotify. Some people don't like that. They don't like, don't be streaming my music, bro. Stream it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Wherever you can get it and consume it, get it. Noise Trade, I got free projects on there. If you go on there, you can download stuff for free. You know what I mean? So SoundCloud, you can listen on there as well. Dee Black Music. So you can find me any of those.
Y'all can find me too, man. I ain't getting no people to watch my show. I told somebody about my show earlier today, but he ain't even come to the show to watch my show.
Oh, so man, hey, we gonna have to tag him, man.
All good. It is all good. So yeah, I appreciate you being on the show, man. And you're actually in Baltimore. I'm actually right now in Northern VA.
Oh, so no, I'm not in Baltimore anymore.
Oh, okay, where you at right now?
I'm in Florida now. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've been in Florida for about 2 years, but I'm in Baltimore so much that people still think I live there.
Okay, never mind. What I was going to say, you know, if you're ever in the area, man, swing by. We can do this in person too. So
Yeah, I will though. If I will be in that area before you know it for sure. So either way, I'll definitely connect with you.
Okay, appreciate it, man. So people watching the show later on, yo, you know what it is. Glad y'all were able to, or glad you are able to right now, whatever time you're watching this, watch the show. Also, man, I'm gonna say that for later. I was gonna tell people that. Don't worry about it. Anyway, people watching. Stay tuned. Be blessed. Flowing God's love. Till next time.